Hello and welcome to our podcast. I'm Risa.
And I'm Mariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
And those mature themes may be too much for you. I don't know. You need to know your threshold for mature things, okay?
Your
I need you guys
threshold.
to know yourselves and know what you can handle and what you can't. Because if you can't handle us swearing like sailors, that's okay. Just go on over to hers very own podcast. That's what it's called, Unlocked, and listen to, Tammy Tucky interview people.
Yeah. Especially if you want to literally just listen to interviews with like voice actors and producers and stuff for the Nancy Drew games. That's a much better podcast to listen to because we do none of that.
We just sort of talk at you.
We do.
About Nancy Drew.
To be fair, isn't that what podcasts all are? Just people talking at you.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yes. So, my favorite ones. Yes.
To be fair, I don't listen to many podcasts because I need to be watching things most of the time. Otherwise, my brain is like, that's not language.
I like to listen to like how did this get made? And that's people watching bad movies and then going, here's why they suck. And it's great.
Snarking works. So we snark. We're going to snark a lot right now. What are we talking about today, sister?
Today we're snarking about Fix That Game Part 2.
I know, I love it. So, we have 3. There are so many Nancy Drew games. There's so many. And there are so many that are just plain mediocre. We're not gonna beat around the bush here. Some of them are bad, but some of them are just mediocre. And you know what? We can fix them. So please,
we can do it.
Anyone having a mediocre game, please come to us, Meister Sisters. We fix your games.
We'll fix the game for you.
I'll fix it up. Just get me the script. I'll red pen it for you. We'll be good to go. Okay,
yeah.
So what games are we going to fix today?
Today we're going to fix... Last time we fixed some games that we thought were kind of horrendous. For the most part, this time we're just fixing games that are kind of... They're just off. They're just far enough off to be
good. They're almost good, and we're going to make them good. And
let's start with...
Oh, which one are we starting with?
Let's start with Haunted Carousel, because I think that has...
Okay, let's do it.
So Haunted Carousel, as we've discussed, it has good... It could have been really good.
It really could have been.
There's no meat to it. It's just the barest minimum. Most of what I want is Joy's storyline to be fixed.
That's a huge
her father, her father trying to help her remember things from her childhood is
it's compelling.
Great. It's super
I
compelling.
Know more.
And it's sweet and it's wonderful and it's nothing that's going to be fixed in 3 tiny steps. So okay, we've got what? We've got the spoon, the song, and the horse.
That's it. That's all we need to know, obviously.
Obviously.
And
I want more.
Ariana, you forgot Spatzel. Spatzel.
So he wants to evoke the good memories of the park.
Yeah.
Right? So
instead of, her being a completely joyless adult.
Yeah, just Jesus Christ. But so he wants, because the park was his favorite thing. He was a big child, and so he wanted her to love the park as much as he did. So he wants to invoke the good memories, and so he asks her to ride the carousel, and try to get the brass ring. This is like literally. I honestly want it to kind of be like just like a little thing where we have to like talk her into going and doing it. So this is something that we maybe he gives us a hint at what he wants her to do, which is ride the carousel. But for the most part, this is a story thing, not a puzzle. And so he wants her to catch the brass ring, and she catches it, and it reminds her of the fact that because she used to love the carousel, and she would ride it with her mom, and because she was only 4 years old, so she was way too small to reach the brass ring, her mom would like hold her out and help her try to reach it. Sometimes she'd just grab it for her, and so it's this nice, happy memory of her mom, and she gets to hold on to that instead of just being all bitter that she died. And then the next thing that I want is that there is a candy machine, or maybe it's just one of the things that you can get in the prize machine.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's what it is. But anyway, he leaves clues so that we can figure out which candy is her absolute favorite. Joy's.
Yeah.
And so we have to sort of figure that out. Or maybe it's like one of those. Maybe it's like Big Island Mike, and so it's kind of a trial and error thing. So we have to find out which candy was her absolute favorite. And so, as I said in my notes, between the fun day and the candy, she was pretty sugared out kid.
Obviously.
So it's no wonder she like would go crazy and be like, let's burn everything. Destroy all the pictures. Sorry, I'm imagining her as a completely wild child, and it's like, that's Joy. No, but so anyway, we have to play the games to get the candy, blah blah blah. That's not the important part. The important part is that then she eats it, and she's reminded of that she was eating that candy when she found out that her mother had died, and so something that had been so sweet to her suddenly tasted so sour, and she suddenly hated the candy just because of that memory. And in this, she realizes that she let that one event completely ruin all of her happiness, and that's what her dad was always trying to like ingrain into her, that she needed to actually find the joy in life.
Haha, joy.
No. Don't you laugh at that.
I'll laugh at it all I want.
That she needed to actually have like some joy in life, and because that's what he did. He didn't want the sadness to ruin her memories. So that's what I mainly want from this game.
Yeah.
What do you want?
I want from this game is I want more. I want more game.
God, yeah.
Like, for one thing, just there's nothing here. There's very little to do in this game. But what I want more of is I want more. What I always want. I always want more motive. Because in this case, it's like, oh no, who could it be? Like, like Ingrid does have shit that it's like, wow, this is really sketchy that she's getting loads of money. She's in contact with the guy who was in the accident. He gave her advice. Like,
she gave him advice, yeah.
Or whatever. What I meant to say. She gave him advice and all that shit. So obviously there's shit going around with Ingrid, but I want more about Elliot. Why did he decide to do this? What in his life happened to make him decide to counterfeit?
Who hurt you?
Like, my question then is it like some sort of like, I need the money really bad thing? Like, you put down, like, is it student loan debt or something like that?
Just give me
something like he feels like he is so good, he wants to be able to be passing off his work as Kessler's work? Like, give me something like that. Some reason for him to be doing this other than, I mean, I stole a horse and, have now been staging hauntings so I can sell counterfeits of it.
I did it. What you gonna do about it?
Like, there's no reason. There's literally no reason that he did any of this other than, I just could.
Chaos! Chaos is why!
I know. That's it.
He is an agent of chaos. That's why.
I also want more, like, info. Like, more stuff about Harlan. Because we're obviously supposed to suspect him, and we do for a little bit. But then it's, like, cleared up like that.
I mean, literally the only reason we're given...
fired.
Huh?
After we almost get him fired.
Yeah.
He's an ex-con, and he was snooping on people.
Yeah.
Is what we do. We're just like, hey, boss. Just like,
hey, your security guard was looking in on people.
Yeah.
And
he was doing his job. Can you
he was
really
doing
let
his job.
Slide?
But he was doing his job as somebody who's an ex con. Can you believe
I
that?
mean, pretty
Like,
much.
I need to know, maybe give us something. Why did he go
Like,
to jail?
was he in jail because of counterfeiting shit? Was
Was
he
he in
in
jail because of
jail
counterfeiting?
for
Mhm.
like grifting? Was he
Like,
doing like what
was
was he
it
doing?
was it like lawsuit, like insurance fraud, like that sort of thing?
Exactly.
Like he was doing
Anything like
false.
that.
Hmm. I need
That
something like
links
that.
it to the story. That would be
Yeah.
interesting instead of, immediately being able to just the thing is that it's so easy to clear him. We're
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, the guy he was in prison with literally had nothing to do with it. Okay. This person who we can call, oh, that's just his parole officer. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of
That's it.
a bit
Also,
of a
parole
letdown.
officers should not be able to um talk to you about any
Unless
of
you are
that.
like a police officer or something, they
And we're
should
not.
not be.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
We're just a 19-year-old girl.
Just some child is calling you.
So that's how I also would like to know more about Paula. Maybe let's kind of also make this a Paula thing. Like, can she also be made into a suspect? That's the question.
Yeah.
I think she should. I think she should be in question as well. I think that would add more to the story as well. Is if we're looking into it and like the way she's doing things in such a way that makes them working there hard on Elliot. Maybe that's part of why he's doing it. Like, is her management style bad for him?
Instead of just being a hands-off boss.
I'm a hands-off manager. I get the
Like,
best people and I let them do their best.
that's pretty good. I mean, I cannot begrudge her that.
I mean,
Honestly.
yeah, but if you're like, I just let them all do their work and then you get upset that they're doing things that you don't know about, like, maybe you
Um,
should be slightly hands-on. One hand on.
just
One
like a
hand on.
pinky.
One hand doing a peace sign. Um,
Jesus.
sorry.
Um, but I also because like doesn't Joy briefly state that she kind of thinks that that Paul is behind everything?
She does briefly, very, very
Very
briefly.
briefly, and then we never hear about it again, and
Also,
it's just like Joy
does
being and
Joy ever get any sort of punishment for causing that man's whiplash?
no.
No? Okay. Also, can we have a real reason? She's like, I blamed Paula for my father's death. Like, why?
Why?
Just like I blamed that horse
Because-
for my mom's death.
Exactly. You don't deal with death like normal people do, Joy.
Yeah, that's. Well, we'll fix that. Just
We'll
fix
fix
those
that.
things, and it's a good game.
We'll fix Joy in post.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I think that's a good amount of stuff to
And that's how
fix
you
it.
make The Haunted Carousel a playable game.
It's playable. It's just
Yeah, for 3 hours.
like Jesus Christ.
Sorry, you did it in 4, but that's because you were a super sleuth and looked at everything.
Yeah.
So what's the next game we're gonna fix, sister?
I don't know. Do you want to do your rant next, or do you want to save that?
Let's save my rant.
Okay, then the next one we're going to talk about.
'Cause that might get even more involved.
The next one we're going to talk about is Curse of Blackmore Manor.
We're gonna skip a page and a half of notes real quick. We'll come back to them.
Okay, so I would like to note
Okay.
that I played this game this week, right?
Mhm.
Some of you showed up for it. It was great. It was actually very fun to stream. Risa reminded me today. I never called the
Lycanthropy?
lycanthropist.
Yes.
The lycanthropist.
Yeah, she never called her once. Dr. Pridavicu?
I
Pridavicu.
never called her,
Nope.
and I finished the game.
Yeah, you
That's
can literally.
Inconsequential the curse in
Yeah.
the Curse of Blackmore Manor is.
That's the thing. You can also complete the entire game without calling Hugh, Jane's dad.
Yeah.
You can
I
just
almost
completely.
did.
Yeah, she almost did. I literally just in the last like probably 45 minutes of the game, I was like, "Hey, have you called Hugh?" No, I haven't. So
Oh, hey, yeah,
that's our
him.
issue with the Curse of Blackmore Manor is that we go there specifically to figure out what's up with Linda, and then we spend, you know, 6 hours, just fucking around and trying to find everything about the Penvillin curse, Penvillin treasure. That's literally what we do. We spend the entire time trying to figure out how to get to this family treasure. We spend zero time trying to figure out what is up with Linda, the person we have literally been sent to figure out what is up with her. Because the thing is, if you remember, if anyone doesn't remember, Linda, her mom lives in Nancy's neighborhood, and her mom comes to us and she's like, "My daughter married a guy, an English dude, moved to England, and now she's acting strange as fuck. She's not letting people see her. She's moody. She's irritable. You need to figure out what's wrong." So she buys us a plane ticket to England to go stay in England to figure out what's wrong with her. And you want to know what we fucking do?
We play Go Fish with a Machine.
We play Go Fish with a machine and a 12-year-old. We play two different types of Go Fish. That's what we do when we're supposed to be figuring out why this woman's daughter is no longer talking to her, talking to anyone, why she's being so weird. To be fair, she was probably just a melodramatic person. But we want to, like, don't get me wrong. The whole Penvillin treasure stuff is really fun. It's fun. It is, trying to figure it all out.
But
However,
you've got to have your B plot, if nothing else.
we got to actually do something. It has to do with our main objective. Because if our main objective is figure out what's wrong with Linda, why can we just go the entire game without talking to the lycanthrope specialist? Why can I literally just finish the game without actually figuring out what's wrong with the person I'm supposed to be fixing?
It's ridiculous.
I think that really speaks volumes as to how little they care about Linda.
Yeah.
So we have some suggested fixes. First, we need to spend more time trying to figure out what's happening with Linda. We like go in there and we can just talk to her like 3 times and just leave it at that. That's it.
Yeah.
Like
she just ejects us from like 2 conversations, and then that's it.
And she just refuses to talk to us for most of the game. And I think that's a huge issue. And why we just never go in there, because there's no reason to, because she won't fucking talk to us.
Yeah.
So, I think that's the first thing to fix, is she needs to be invested in this as well.
Yeah.
Linda needs to be invested. Linda needs to not be, "Oh, go away. I'm past fixing." Oh.
You wouldn't understand.
I know.
That fucking...
I'm sorry, allergy medicine does not make you act like that. I have to take enough Benadryl. If every time I was on Benadryl, I acted like I was cursed, that would make for some very interesting fun times.
That'd be hilarious. just every so often you have to take allergy medicine. Andrew finds you in a corner going,
yeah. Pretty much.
Oh.
So yes, first things first, Linda has to be invested in her own well-being, because she's not right now.
She's not. She doesn't want to get better.
And that makes us not care. Second, we need everyone else to have a reason to exist, because in like real life, people don't need a reason to exist, but in a story, people need a reason to be there, because otherwise, why waste the words, everything on them?
It takes
no
a whole team to animate one of these characters.
So okay, we'll start with everyone. Let's just give everyone a motive. First of all, Mrs. Drake obviously already has a motive. We find out about her motive. That's great. We never talk to her about her motive. We never address it. We never even, like, as the player character, as Nancy Drew, we don't do anything about Mrs. Drake's motive. We're like, yeah, she's has the allergy medicine that causes all these things. She has been looking into this clause, you know.
Yeah.
Q tells us about the clause again and explains it to us in detail that, that if the spouse leaves within 6 months, they then, like, lose any inheritance to the property and half the estate goes to the next living heir. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't happen.
Make any sense.
It doesn't happen. But, they put that in there. So they give Mrs. Drake a reason to want to scare Linda off. And then we never talk to anyone about it.
We never actually suspect her.
Nope. There's no time where we're ever like, someone want to do something about this? No, we don't care.
Even just her maybe saying snarky things.
Yeah.
That lead us to believe that she, doesn't think that Linda belongs there. Something like that. Anything.
No, the worst we get is her trying to feed her food and Linda being like, no, I can't eat that. That's it. That's all we get. And then she leaves the little talisman.
Yeah, she leaves the talisman. We learned nothing about the talisman.
Nope.
Wait, did I just not go ask her? And that is another issue. I can just look at that and go, oh, and not.
She's like,
without asking her.
This looks like some sort of talisman. Or charm. That's what she says. It looks like some sort of charm. Now
That's interesting. I'm gonna go move this gargoyle for a little bit.
We just can't we don't talk to anyone about it. So it's just like, okay. So obviously it just bears no, they give her a motive, but then they don't let you do anything about it. Jane, she is given a motive, but we don't get anything about it. Like we obviously, she's been using the stuff she's learning from Ethel to try and scare Linda away. Like, we see that, but we don't see that until literally Dear Ned.
Yeah.
We don't know any of this during the actual game. There's no hints, really, of I would really prefer my own mom here. None of that.
Basically, she mentions that her mom's an opera singer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's it. That's really it. She doesn't talk about it at all. And
it's like, I want to hear her talking about how great her mom is and how awesome everything is with her and like her catching herself saying Linda instead of mummy.
Yeah. But no, they don't do any of that. They're like, oh yeah, no, she dotes on Linda. And then at the end, they're like, no,
Christ, Linda's kind of shitty to this kid.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just like, we don't see her motive. Like, at the end, they tell us her motive, but we never see it.
You need to show, not
tell.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
It's just the rule of good writing.
Exactly. So, next, people, why do they exist? Nigel. If you replaced Nigel with Wikipedia, would the plot change?
The
answer is no.
He does less for this game than Nancy's cell phone.
That's true.
Because at least Nancy's cell phone gives us the whole alchemy thing and all that shit.
He does nothing for the plot at all. He just exists to be an exposition machine. And that really needs to change. There needs to be, like, for me, in a mystery novel, or game in this case, every character needs to have a motive. Every character needs to be a suspect. Maybe that's because, I'm used to reading good mystery novels, like, Poirot.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Where every character is a suspect. Until the very end. Like, you rule out 2 or 3 as the game goes on. In this one, literally the only suspects in this game are Mrs. Drake and Jane. And Linda herself, I guess. Just literally turning into a werewolf.
She's a werewolf.
But
she just is. She's a werewolf.
Nigel has to have something. We need to give him something. A reason to exist. So, like, there's the message to him, which is literally just a TXT file, which I love, to Nigel.txt. That's not how you send emails. but literally pressuring him to find dirt to make his book good. So it's like, well, is he inventing this to make the book good? Is maybe the entire curse an invention of his own to make his book interesting?
Like, I think that's what they're trying to lead us to consider, but they give us nothing else.
Yeah, they really want you to make your own assumptions in this game. And
because then, like, if he had some actual motives, then him going, "Oh, I'm leaving. Did you know I have reason to believe this place is haunted?" Actually is like oh, well, this is a turn for the character. We thought that he was doing it, but if he's genuinely spooked, then maybe he's not the one doing the spooking.
Exactly.
Like, okay, they don't even go into. He gives Jane her book on monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be like and that's where we find the thing on werewolves.
Yep.
So there could be some kind of implication there, but there's nothing.
Nope, nothing. He serves no purpose other than being an exposition machine. Replace him with Miles' Magnificent Memory Machine, and there's no difference.
No, that's Hugh.
Very true. No, because you actually have to talk to Miles for the story to progress. That's another thing. Hugh, I feel like maybe could have something to do with it. Maybe he's trying to get out of it, something like that. Maybe give him a meaning to exist as well. Every character needs to have a reason to exist, and that's where I'm going to come to our next character, Ethel.
The only half-existing woman.
You can only talk to her when she finds you, and that makes her almost not even a character. Like, honestly. Because you can't ever go find her to talk to her. She almost ends up being like a phone friend. And I think that's a big issue. Like, story-wise. Yeah. And also, she needs to have a reason to exist as well. Other than just... I'm sorry.
Why does she do this? Why does she do the very little that she does?
She's not even, like, we hear from Nigel. She doesn't have, like, a degree or anything. She legit is not a real tutor. Like, and he says himself, I would be a much better tutor for Jane. So that's also one of those things that could get worked in. Maybe he's trying to make his way into the family. Whatever.
Yeah.
But that would be if we were really trying to see that he was trying to find the treasure or something.
Yeah.
And using the curse to try to scare them off or something like that. Any of these things could make this game much better. But Ethel is not a real tutor. She's just literally in a cult. She's in the cult of the Penvillans.
The Penvillin cult. She's in the sucking of the Penvillin's dick.
Like, honestly, her entire existence is just to learn about the Penvillans and the initiation rites. She doesn't even get to be an initiate. And then she teaches the next one.
Additionally, how does she know about the initiation rites?
I'm assuming that this is like Ethel's family.
Ethel's family is supposed to do that.
Is doing that.
Because I thought that it was the previous. Because, like, the grandfather taught Alan.
Yeah, but Mrs. Drake specifically insists on using Ethel.
Yeah.
That's saying that, my brother insisted. So that's the only thing. I don't know.
Like, anyway, whatever. Like, I guess we can make the case that, anyway, regardless,
I would love her to have, like, a motive to be the one messing with Linda. Maybe she's trying to get in on that Hugh dick.
Yeah.
Something like that. Give her a reason. Maybe she wants to, be the mother figure for Jane. Maybe all sorts of things. My favorite that I came up with, my favorite alternate ending, actually, in this game, was that it wasn't Jane doing it. It's actually Nigel and Ethel as, like, they're, like, con men, like, as a couple. And they thought this would be an easy con, trying to find the treasure, and then they find out it's a rock. See, that's an amazing ending, isn't it?
That's a
Isn't
great
that
one.
that's a much better ending than trying to kill a little girl.
Yeah. She looks so sad and defeated.
And she's like,
Let's have a couple of
Nancy, I can't say anymore. It's getting hard to breathe. It's like, hey, Nancy, you just almost killed a child.
uh it's just I would definitely much rather it be two con men who uh, it's like wah wah. I would much
Like,
rather that because if nothing else, there's comedy in that,
mhm.
and
And it's
just
just a
like
rock. So that's my little tidbit. That's my alternate ending. But to
yeah.
make the thing work as it already does, like the plot already as it is, we need to just incorporate the curse, really the curse, into
Hmm.
what's going on with Linda. And if we have to figure out what the treasure is, figure out what the curse is doing, then it connects them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just looking for the treasure while Linda sits in her room, telling us to go away.
Just go
She
away.
doesn't want to talk to me, so instead I'm gonna go play Go Fish with.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I gotta make sure Granny gets across the pond. Like, fuck this shit.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean,
Yeah, that's how we would fix Curse of Blackmore Manor.
actually, now
Are you ready for the next one, sister?
I'm ready for the next one. Is the world ready for the next one?
I don't know. Is the world ready for Arisa Fix's Danger by Design?
Fucking better be, because I'm about to just lay this shit down.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
Do
snap. Okay. Danger by Design. If you don't remember, I played this game quite a while ago on our stream. Um, in this game, we're sent undercover to find out what is wrong with Minette. That's the game. The game is literally Minette, the fashion designer, has started wearing a mask. And so one of her backers sends us to see why. That's it.
The fuck is this?
That's why
the
we're
fuck
sent.
is this mask?
That's why we went. That's why we go to France. That's why we go to Paris to find out why she's wearing a mask. Okay, she's also stressed and behind on her work, but the biggest thing is, why is she wearing a mask? Is she going a little crazy?
Like,
So, let's give this story a plot. Let's actually create a plot for this game. So,
okay.
first things first, why is this weird for Minette? Because as far as I can tell, in all of the other shit, Minette does weird shit all the time. She's just crazy.
Par for the course.
She's touchy, she's sensitive, she is irrational, she does weird shit all the time. That's how we're supposed to do it. So, let's just take a step back. Why would someone be concerned by this? Maybe this isn't how she normally is. How about that? Like, she's
She's normally so down to earth.
let's just take a step back. She's always been creative and she's been moody. How about that? She's been a very moody person. She goes, you know,
Mm-hmm.
mood swings and stuff like that. That's fine. But I feel like maybe she goes from being just, a normal up and down person to suddenly having rages and tantrums and like these are not the norm. And that's why people are getting upset. Because she starts bawling in the middle of doing stuff. She starts laughing in the middle of doing stuff that she shouldn't be laughing about. Like,
She bawls and then laughs, and it's very concerning.
she is, like, having a, like, psychotic break, almost. And we need to have a reason, like, that needs to not be the normal. Because otherwise people shouldn't be concerned enough to send us in. So let's say she's normally a, a pretty normal person, and this has started happening. She's started having these weird tantrums and complete huge mood swings. And she's cutting ties with friends left and right, so people are getting concerned. And it also means she's behind on her work because she's now super, like, testy. So she's going through assistance and shit like that. That helps. The mask is then added on top of that. Why the mask as well? And in this case, we're not going to make the mask just because she has a fucking facial tattoo. That's the stupidest thing. It's the biggest cop out. She has the mask because she's got a little tattoo she instantly regretted. No. If you're going to have someone have a fucking mask on the entire game and have
Burn
that be the
face.
huge thing,
Like,
let's do something about it. Like, let's make it she was doing it because she couldn't stand looking at herself in the mirror anymore because of what's going on. Make it because the people who are using her did something to prove a point, like they branded her or something. Who knows? We need something. We need something for the mask, not just, I got a tattoo when I was drunk and I don't want it anymore. Because that's fucking laser tattoo removal, lady.
easy peasy.
So let's now go into what got her into this trouble. In the game, I went back because even after playing it only like 2 months ago, I literally had to go back again to see what happened. She has been hired, paid a small fortune, by 2 ex-East German secret police to make a dress out of special material with circuitry in it so that they can hear what that the First Lady is going to wear. First Lady of what country? Who the fuck knows? At the World Summit. They just want to hear things at the World Summit, which isn't like super. And what rooms are the First Lady of whatever country going to be in? Where they're gonna. And what? The East German secret police.
You know.
What? Okay.
Well, because the Noisette thing is about
No, that has nothing
World War II. No,
Yeah,
I'm just telling you.
But let's just change this because this makes zero sense. Things that we can change this to instead. It can be she's being, what I like to think of is instead of just she's being paid money, because if you're being paid money to do this, then why are you having a breakdown about it? Like, that's stupid. Literally just, she was being paid a small fortune to, like, that doesn't cause you to have a complete fucking breakdown and get stressed and behind on your work. That's not how that works. We need a reason. Is she being threatened? Is she being blackmailed? Are her, her friends and family being threatened, and so she's being forced into doing this? That's what I want to choose. I want to choose that her family and friends are being threatened, and that's why she's being forced into doing this kind of stuff, right? But who's doing it? It's not it's fucking East German secret police doing it, okay? There are, and just the First Lady at the World Summit. Things that could actually make sense. People who are trying to bug their political opponent. People who, like in an election time, trying to get dirt on them to try and get it so they're not elected. That kind of thing. All sorts of, there's stuff like that. Or even like a gang trying to get intel and stuff through a person who's like an informant or someone, like, even it could even be like the fucking police forcing her to do it to get info on, like, that would never happen in Nancy Drew. That would happen in a novel though. The police making her do it to get like intel on like an activist, let's say, in an activist group, trying to figure out what's going on there. Obviously that would never happen in Nancy Drew, and that would just happen in my novel if I was writing it. But something like that. So I'm thinking more like political opponent type thing. Like, we're trying to get into someone's circle and hear about it. I think that makes the most sense. So what they're trying to do is they're threatening her by, to get, and I'm sorry, special fabric with secret circuitry in it so they can eavesdrop. No. They're trying to get her to sew like bugged things into the dress. Come on. Come the fuck on.
Fucking stupid as shit.
It's ridiculous. Now, the next thing to fix is all of the other people in this case. Because, again, people need fucking motives. I'm sorry. They do.
Yeah,
they
her interactive isn't great with giving people motives.
They're really, really not. So let's start with Heather. Heather does have a bit of a motive. already is that, in the game, Minette's stealing some of her designs or something like that. That's what it is, I think.
Yes.
I think it's better if we can suspect her because she's trying to drive Minette crazy or something to get her out of the brand. So she can then be in charge of the brand. Something like that. We can get her, you know, so she, has a breakdown and ends up, because she's the only assistant who's lasted long enough. Why is she the only assistant who's lasted very long? That kind of thing. JJ. Why? We never really have, like, we give all these really weird things with JJ. It's like, they'll be like, oh, she's unhappy with the contract. Oh, she has these fucking books about engineering. We never find anything out about that.
That never pays off at all.
That never goes anywhere. So how about this? We can suspect that she's unhappy with this contract she signed. She feels she's not being paid enough. So how about she's trying to drive Minette crazy so she can get out of the contract? Because if someone's not of sound mind, when they sign a contract, the contract is null. So maybe that's what we're trying to push there. Is she's trying to get out of this contract. And if Minette is crazy, then we no longer have to be in the contract. Jean-Michel and never has any sort of he never has any sort of reason to exist all that much. I'm saying we make him relevant by maybe he's being bribed by that Hugo, the fashion designer, the other fashion designer. Maybe he's being bribed by Hugo to cover Minette in an unkind light or something like that. Maybe trying to drive Minette out of business and more customers to Hugo. Butterfree, that might be his last name. Or I'm just making shit up. But
it sounds right.
It's something like that, but that's just a Pokemon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just
thinking of a Pokemon. That's fine. Doesn't matter.
That doesn't mean it's not his name.
That's true. Because, my good old friend, Heather Pikachu.
I was going to say Jenny Rotata.
That actually does sound like it could be a name, though.
What?
That sounds like it could be a last name. Okay. So, last person already does have an actual, like, the only person in the entire game to have a motive and to tie in the fucking Noisette storyline. Only person is Dieter. Dieter is the only person who actually makes this a somewhat cohesive game to begin with.
He's the only German character. That's so, like...
I know, right? So, in the game itself, by the way, I tried to call him Henrik first, and then I was like, no, Henrik isn't right. So then I tried to call him, what was the other one? Oh, tried to call him another name before finally remembering. No, Dieter.
Dieter von Schwesterkrank.
Dieter von Schwesterkrank. So Dieter, in the game, we think that he's come to France to figure out the Noisette stuff because of his grandpa, great uncle, someone in his family. I can't remember if it's grandpa, great uncle, or something. I can't remember right now. Was in a relationship with Noisette.
Wasn't Noisette his grandmother?
No, Noisette was not his grandmother. No, it was that his family member had a relationship with Noisette.
Well, I mean, that would happen if she was his grandmother.
I don't think that's
just saying.
It's the grandmother thing. I don't think so. I might be wrong. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? I am very tired at this very moment, and I've been talking for 45 minutes now on this particular subject. But he has that reason to be there. We think in the game that he originally goes to the Moulin to make friends with Annette and date her to get to the stuff, try and figure it out. That actually, that almost checks out. It almost fucking checks out. However, I think we need to intensify it. You know, he came to France because of that, but then he met her while trying to get into the Milan, and he fell in love with her. Not trying to use her. He never tried to use her. I want that, but I want it to look like originally before we figure out why he came to. We want it to look like he's just that ex-boyfriend who's now maybe an ex-boyfriend who's like terrorizing her because he's mad at being rejected, right? But then we find out in the end she only broke up with him because she was was concerned for his safety. But they really love each other. Yeah, I like that better.
I don't know. I like how Dieter's story is anyway. Just because I like, because we suspect him and then, nope.
Yeah. No, I agree. He should be the first person.
Sweet, sweet baby.
We should be the first person that we rule out as suspecting. And then, because he then helps us and gives us all the stuff so we can look at the Noisette stuff.
Yeah.
But how else do we bring the Noisette stuff into it? Because at the moment, that's it. That's all we just go right off into it. We're like, you know what? This happened here. We should look into it. Has nothing to do with what we've been hired to do. But you know what? I really want to find this lady's shit. She left clues. I need to honor her in her death by following the clues. Because that's Nancy. But yes. Instead of just having it tacked onto the side, we do need to actually make it integral to the plot. Maybe we're thinking that someone's trying to get to the treasure, and that's why Minette's going crazy. Someone's trying to scare her off.
Heck, it would be great if we had something leading us towards like JJ kind of. Maybe
JJ is trying to do it because she's a spy. I don't know. Everyone's a spy.
I think maybe JJ just wants to find what's that left and retire from and not have to make another cookie ever again.
Exactly. Which I'm not even going to talk about. The JJ cookie thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the ending. The ending is so fucking stupid. Where we fucking beat up Minette. Right? I'm sorry, we stop
say
her
nonsensical things.
Yeah, we stop her from beating us up is really what happens. But I want it to be different. I want it to be like we come to Minette and we're like, we know what the fuck has happened. Right? But in our version, Minette's being forced to do this. In my version, I'm not going to say our, I'm not going to speak for both of us. But in my version, Minette's being forced into doing it. She's not doing this because she really wants to. That's why she beats us up in the original game, is she's just taking money to do this. She's just being bought. Yeah. In this case, she's like, oh no, that's not right. None of this that you're telling me is right. And she's like looking like, over there. And maybe we see something. The reason she's complying. Maybe it's like a surveillance thing. Maybe it's a bomb that'll go off if something happens, if they think she's not following what should be happening, right? So instead of the big final puzzle being, us just outlasting a fashion designer at combat, we can instead solve a puzzle like defusing a bomb or maybe rerouting a security feed to go to the police or something like that. I don't know. Nancy's smart. She can do something like that. Who the fuck cares? But, something like that. And then once we get rid of that, Minette can be like, oh, thank fuck. This is what's going on. And we can go to the police with her. Yeah.
I like it.
I like it much better. That's how I would fix the game. However, I also want to put in Sunny June was there. Sunny June was there because they thought Noisette hid an artifact. Hid an artifact in her stuff. Sunny June went through all of the effort to get down there where Nancy gets down in the end. He finds it. He realizes, just human art, and he leaves. And he goes, well, next place. So I just want to put that down. That's what I think happens there.
Yeah. I prefer your ending mostly because I prefer a sympathetic bad guy. So
Yeah.
like if we can have at the end it be like, okay, we helped Minette too, and everybody lives, Rose. Just a nice happy ending.
I mean, honestly, yeah, because as it is, it's just like the game is like, yeah, Minette's just a bad person.
Right? It's just like, yeah, no, Minette
No, she
sucks.
just she just was taking money for treason. Like, yeah, that's just it. And then she was not only was she committing treason, she was dragging her feet to commit treason because she was just too much of an artiste to be rushed. That's literally the game.
That's
Like,
just that part is wonderful. Just because it's like, hey, if I'm gonna do this, I'm doing it beautifully.
so I
I'm gonna
need
do it with the
you.
exact right material. I'm gonna have the exact perfect design, and
Actually, if I'm going to commit treason, I'm going to commit treason with style. Exactly.
yes,
So that's how we would fix these games. After you, this episode has been 50 minutes.
that's
That's
the
how
long
we
and
would,
short of it.
yeah, that's how we would fix these games. If you would fix them in a separate way, or you think they don't need fixing, please let us know on our Twitch. No, not our Twitch. Our Twitter. Actually, you can on the VOD if
Yeah.
you want. SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, or Tumblr. Any teas. You can let us know on any of those places. As well as you can remember, you can now subscribe to us on Twitch. Um, and you can get a cute little emote. Looks like a little wine glass, so you can drink while we're streaming. Yeah, it looks. And you can also now shower us with change by giving us bits on Twitch as well. So, as a reminder, I'm Marisa,
Miranda.
and we're the Krolmeister sisters, and we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.